Alright, shout out to last week's poll. Super glad we're all on the same page. But now I need to figure out if we're on the same page with this. So, how difficult do you think it is to have a prosthetic in the Black Cloververse? Like, they have magic that allows you to bend time and space itself, manipulate gravity, fly, all that stuff. Like, is a prosthetic really that much of a debuff here? I don't think so. Lucci, start taking some lies, bro. Thank you to our $5 patron, Sin is Lancelot. And a big thank you to our $25 patron, the Mr. Greed. Now, before we have this review of chapter 325 of Black Clover, please don't forget to leave your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Any support would be appreciated. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got Pencil here, and here we are for chapter 125 plus 200 chapters. I don't know where the 100 came from. 325 of Black Clover, which is known as A Dark Starry Night. And, Lucci, right? The fact that you failed to kill a single person in this chapter is kind of embarrassing, but you're using all the magic power you literally got rid of most of your skirt for this? Come on now, bro. You should be blitzing these fools insanely. Come on now, you should be better than this, Lucci. But obviously, I still think to some degree Lucci is holding back, which is definitely to his whatever. Let's hop right into the chapter itself. So, open up. We get to see that the squad from last chapter, they are posted up. They are ready. We see Yami sensing his death on the horizon, but still being extremely out there and ready to go for it. But in that same breath, well, he tells the kids to mix it up and dive on in there. Lucci just looks unperturbed, as he should, really. Like, the thing is, if I'm Lucci, right? One, I'm blitzing everybody here and slaughtering everyone, just to be safe. But two, in actuality, I probably wouldn't be worried either, especially if I just transcended, and these guys have so far, at least, have not shown any level of transcendence that's actively concerning to me. Like, they're all still in the same states they weren't. Like, the best that Yami was able to do was, what? A slight cut while he was caught off guard, while Lucci was caught off guard, and, okay, Asta's still a legitimate threat. But then again, he only chopped off Lucci's horn when he was in Devil Union, when Lucci was not fully on guard. And we don't know how much he can magically reinforce his horns as comparison to his actual body. Because remember, a fresh top of the morning Devil Union Asta swung for Lucci full force with Demon Destroyer, and Lucci caught it in base while casual and nowhere near the level of strength he's at now. So really, I feel like even with if Lucci is able to reinforce his body so much to the point that magic negation, one, can't work, and two, he has enough raw physical strength that Asta isn't a threat. I don't know. Shoot, I just stand there. But of course, we get to see that Lucci is like, this whole little playground thing you have there, this domain expansion, not my thing. You got the wrong manga, but let's just get rid of it. And of course, I wonder how he detonates it though. Like, is that a gravity spell? Because notably, Lucci has been withholding the usage of magic up to this point. And this honestly looks more like a fire or something. I'm not exactly sure what Lucci does here, but after holding his hand out, after stretching out them long fingers of his, he just sends out this weird concussive blast of fiery energy that annihilates a majority of the playground. And obviously that's not good for our current cast, because they kind of need the playground to even do anything, at least in terms of 2 out of the 4 we have so far. And it is it just hitting you now that you're dealing with the strongest member of the underworld? Like, bro, you guys haven't been able to do anything except for 2 little cuts of damage that seem to be instantly negated, because it looks like, unless I'm mistaken, hold on, let me go to the end of the last chapter. We can't see it there, but I think even his horn grew back. So the little damage you've done is pretty much pointless. But of course, amongst the chaos, the fire burning down the playground, they are still confident. Like, Yami's still declaring that, he may be here, the Lord of the Underworld may be here, but we need to end this before he completely gets to lay us out. Like, there's still a chance for us to do something, but that chance is fleeting every single second we don't, so we have to optimize this. We have to get rid of him now or else. And I love how everyone while Yami has this insane, excited look on his face as he declares their mission, knock Yuno and Asta, who really, like, I know Yami's technically been suffering for a long time, like, ever since the Xenon fight, he's been sealed away and had his magic getting sapped away and used as a conduit for the tree. But in actuality, like, Yuno, Asta, and not they've been through some stuff. Like, all of them have almost died at least thrice in the past couple of days, however long it's been in universe since the whole Xenon fight happened. And meanwhile, Yami came out arguably a better man than he went in. And while all these guys technically came out better men than they went in to the whole war stage, because, you know, Saint stage for accidentally and not consistently knocks better understanding of his own power. Well, not better understanding, but I'm assuming he's gotten stronger. And obviously Devil Union is something that Asta didn't have before. But it's hilarious, but also fitting to see that these three are so serious because they've been through so much related to the underworld. Meanwhile, Yami, who's sort of just been asleep for the most of it, is just like, we gotta do it now, we gotta do it now, look at my grin. And of course, we see that Asta's like, yo, I hate to say it, but I'm fodder right now. Everyone's transcended in some way, shape, or form, except for the one dude who can't. So I can't be staying in this tiny state. I got 2 minutes left. Lieb, it's a Devil Union time, my boy. And Lieb's like, yeah. I don't know. I can't take baby Lieb seriously. I don't know. Something about the little inky design and the little, well, big white eyes. I don't know. I get it. That's how they're meant to be portrayed in that form. Or, like, in the way whenever they're tiny and stuff like that, whenever their power's at use by another human. But you couldn't have done the thing where you did before. Like, when Lieb was yelling at LUCCI, it wasn't baby Lieb. It was actual Lieb who was sitting there. Well, it was baby Lieb overdone by actual Lieb. So to see this little, once again, burst of resolve for Devil Union to avenge Lucita's death, I don't know. It's just hard to take serious with the look. Yeah. And the thing is, right? Lee, you said this last time. What do you think is gonna happen, my boy? the last time you said this, y'all got curb stomped. What is gonna make this time any different? And of course, when Asta activates Devil Union, he gets coated in anti-magic. And notably, Nock immediately realizes that, oh no, this was not the time to do this at all. Because since the anti-magic is overflowing from Asta's body, which does mean that his entire armor is composed of anti-magic. So the fact that whenever he swings and grabs, like, honestly, Asta could probably just run through magical attacks now, considering he at least has some negation properties. Who knows, maybe his face and stuff is still vulnerable, but at least every part of his body is overflowing with so much anti-magic that they can't use their twin domain. I keep saying domain expansion. The twin monozone. Like, Kids Playground is Nock and Yami activating their monozone together, and the raw anti-magic presence of Asta's Devil Union is literally destroying the entire area that they built. And that's actually pretty insane. Like, I know Asta technically is the second strongest in the verse still. Like, I mean, who knows? We don't know what Melly's up to. Like, Melly, he's still chilling, not doing anything because reasons. But at least in terms of what we had seen up to the point before these latest two had been introduced, Devil Union Devil Union Asta at least was the strongest person in the verse. So it makes sense that he would have such an overwhelming effect by simply existing in a magic heavy area. And of course, he goes for his ultimate strike, which is Demon Slasher, Infinite Slash. But LUCCI is, of course, paying attention to the one dude that can actually harm him, and he just casually, like, he did. Oh no, his horn is still cut off. So yeah, I know he's mad. He is definitely mad. His horn is still missing. But the thing is, he just casually avoids it, which is, it's once again just a testament. But then again, we've had so many. That's the only thing, right? As cool as it is to see LUCCI still being so dominant and being this old mega threat, we've gotten so much at this point that, like, of course Asta was going to land that hit. If fresh Asta could land that hit, this heavily battle damaged one certainly was going to do it, even in Kids Playground. Especially since he kind of negates Kids Playground by simply existing. And of course, we see LUCCI being like, well, you might be the most dangerous one here, but in all reality, you're also the easiest one to kill. And I think that's it's a very cool counterbalance, right? because the reason Asta is the most difficult to kill is because unlike Yuno, he can't teleport everywhere, which is obviously annoying when you're trying to hit somebody. But also on top of that, unlike Yami and Nock, who can swap and dive in between their shadows and stuff like that, their shadows and their darkness, Asta has no like fast range. He doesn't have any instant get out of jail free cards. Like Yami could literally just fall back into his own shadow, Nock could literally fall back into his own shadow, and they'd be good. Like you simply aren't catching them. Meanwhile, in the case of someone like Asta, he has to physically move from place to place, and someone with a movement speed like LUCCI can very easily deal with that. And of course, when we see LUCCI lunge in and try to go for the kill, Yami comes out the shadow, ironically enough, and then slams him away. And once again, kind of insane. I get it. Yami instantly feels repercussions of this because he manages to push LUCCI away, but one, he notices that he can't cut LUCCI like he could before, meaning that his narrow window of opportunity in order to strike him with enough force is gone. And I wonder if that's because, that's a very interesting thing. I wonder if that's because Kid's Playground isn't that stable right next to Asta, and we know that Yami's the main reason Yami did so much damage is because he was amped by Kid's Playground, and then he also landed his slash. But on top of that, why not? Do you think it's because he was so close to DU Asta, who's radiating anti-magic, unless he couldn't put any dark magic behind the blow? Because notably, it seems like he strikes, like, hold on, let me go back to the last chapter, because it seems like he strikes LUCCI, yeah, he doesn't strike LUCCI with any shadow dark magic. He just strikes him with the blade. So I think Asta simply being there actually destroyed Yami's only way of attacking, because there's no magic on his blade, so of course he's not going to cut like before. But the thing is, the recoil from swinging on LUCCI without any protection is so strong that I think it literally just detonates Yami's arm. I don't think LUCCI actually fought back or did anything. I think he literally just blocked, and this is a bad analogy, but like, it's like hitting a brick wall at top speed. Maybe not a brick wall, but like a steel wall at top speed. You're going to do more damage to yourself than you are the wall. And of course, since Yami was going in full force, fresh out of Kid's Playground, the momentum he had, his arm just gets detonated. And of course, we see LUCCI going in for the Munchie Munch. But then Yami gets saved by a star, and Yuno's doing good. And I love how Yami, despite not knowing Yuno very well, still has to put respect on his name. He's like, jeez. You got 2 Grimoires now? Thanks for the save, you handsome. Like, it is true. Yuno is nuts. And honestly, he needs a little bit more if he wants to keep fighting. Nah, but it's crazy how much Yuno really has been backpacking. Like, he's been backpacking for a minute now. He's arguably backpacked the LUCCI fight harder than anyone up to this point. Even more than Nock himself. Yuno has been there saving people, redirecting, stalling LUCCI. He's been going nuts. Sure, he isn't able to do any damage, but still, he's going nuts. And we see Nock running the calculations, like, okay, leveling with ourselves, Yami and Asta are the only ones who could hypothetically defeat LUCCI. But really, Yami's down because he's down strength at least, because he just lost an arm. And 2, we know that Asta, as strong as he is, even previously on a weaker LUCCI couldn't keep up with him and do that much. And the thing is, it's also revealed that, once again, Devil Union has this downside where he's just not compatible with his crew. I guess the Light Trio is just never going to be a thing, because as long as they're in close proximity to each other, Yuno can't even use one of his best hacks, which is the teleportation, because he can't follow Asta with his star magic, because his Asta's existing next to a star likely destroys it. So it's simply not a safe environment for Yuno. And of course, Yuno obviously, he hasn't taken a nap in a while, so that man is also down for the count in terms of stamina. So we see now Yuno is essentially left with a choice. He's like, okay, I can either go with Yami or Asta. And the thing is, I'm guessing what Yuno meant by doing Yami or Asta here. Since he can't teleport Asta, he would like fake himself out, use himself as a decoy so Asta could swing. Or in the case of Yami, he would literally just teleport and switch spots with him, or like move him to another star with conjunction in order to get that finishing blow. And both options do seem very viable. However, the thing is, considering Yami still hasn't pulled out the durability negation dark cloaked dimension slash, like, I would definitely go with Asta here, because you know definitively Asta can cleave through Lucci. Maybe. Probably not. But, well, one of them got a whole horn off. Meanwhile, one got a baby scratch. So I definitely would have bet on Asta. But I can definitely see why they don't bet on Asta here, because of the fact that Lucci is just simply not that dude. No, he doesn't bet on Asta simply because it would be more difficult and more risky to bet on Asta, considering Asta's very presence is not a good thing for either of their magics. And of course, we get to see Melly chilling out. Wake up in the morning, got nothing on his mind. He's literally just sitting there chilling with no problem at all. And Lucci, I guess he does have access to some sort of his magic, right? Because what he does is he opens his palm and he seems to drag it through the air. And when he drags his hand through the air, Nock's arm begins to like spaz out. It begins to freak out, explode, and stretch everywhere. And then the arm simply gets ripped off. And notably, what saves Nock in that instant is what appears to. I'm actually kind of confused now I think about it. Placing my bets on the one who wills. So, okay, that makes sense. That actually makes sense. What this inner monologue was with the two, Nock and Yuno, were both of them deciding who they were going to place their bets on. So Nock, who always had a favoring for Asta, was willing to risk his life as a decoy to get Lucci's attention, which is why the whole, like, he gets in the way and Lucci starts to detonate his arm, but then Asta, using Nock as kind of like a body double with his forced sword, the Demon Slasher Katana, which we know allows him to choose whether or not his anti-magic goes through somebody, he activates the anti-magic on the area of effect, or in the area of effect that Nock was, in order to save Nock's arm so he doesn't lose it like Yami's. But at the same time, he puts the slash there. And the thing is, once again, thanks to Asta's presence even being in the area, it dispels Kid's Playground entirely and leaves it so that Asta can swing fully. But once again, Lucci, just with the insane speed difference, leaps like I'm not even sure he leaped. I think he literally he moved. He definitely moved. Because while he was far away from Nock in the first shot, and then he proceeded to apparate so quickly that he got to where that is actually insane. Because unless I'm mistaken, Asta was about 75% done with his swing. Like, he was that much done with his swing, meaning his anti-magic had come out to that degree. He had gotten his blade that far. However, Lucci, in the very last possible instant, you can even tell because his knee is slightly draped over the dark cloak slash. Like, it's slightly over the little attack that Asta did. And he just snaps Asta's leg at the knee. Like, he put his foot so hard into Asta's kneecap that bad boy cracked. And obviously, Asta isn't the biggest fan of having his leg cracked open, so he is wincing in pain. But then we get to see that, obviously, Asta, I think this is interesting, right? Because I'm pretty sure he reverts here. Because that's the only way that Yuno could get a star up in time. And when he does... Actually, no. I don't even think... Yuno doesn't even get a star up in time. That's crazy. Oh, wait. Maybe. I think maybe he does. I think he does get a star up in time because of Asta's weakened state. So his magic is able to, like, override the anti-magic in the air. And thusly, he appears directly in front of Lucci in order to block the punch. But obviously... considering how much power is behind the punch, his magic aura shatters, and we see who Yuno places his bet on. He places his bet on Yami, the one who wields Captain William's sword, and we see that, like a true fighters player, not loud, Yuno has left Lucci with a mix-up, the left or the right, but Lucci casually declares, "It doesn't matter where the attack comes from. I will kill you." And that's right where the chapter ends. So this is the gamble here. And notably, I think what this is building to, if I had to take a guess, an educated guess, I would say this is definitely building to Dark Cloak Dimension Slash, the one that negates their ability. Because I think that's the only thing in Yami's arsenal now that could hypothetically be used against Lucci to any effect. Like, if he's charging it right now in what remains of Kid's Playground, and then he gets teleported there instantly by Yuno in that next moment, he doesn't have to worry about the wind-up time. So he could literally just swing and knock it down. And the thing is, with Dark Cloak Dimension Slash, it kind of like skips distance. Like, usually by the moment Yami swings the blade, the attack kind of just appears whenever it's in his mana zone. Like, it'll appear on top of somebody and it'll slice through them. So it is entirely possible that this man Lucci could actually get bisected. However, as amazing as that would be for Yami, I still don't think it's going to happen. I think Lucci may be the first person in the verse to like hard face tank a Dark Cloak Dimension Slash Equinox. Like, that is how powerful I think Tabata's trying to portray Lucci to be. Because I still don't, this is the weird like Ludo narrative dissonance, or like the out of world context. Like, as wrapped up as I am in the story, mentally I don't see Tabata getting rid of Lucci, even if he is just at 50% power. I don't see them defeating quote unquote Lucci at all in any like significant way this early on. This sounds weird saying this early on in the series, considering we're 300 chapters deep, but this early on in the series, Lucci is established to be an end game threat, like the strongest of the strong. And I don't know, I keep hearing rumors about Black Clover going on for way longer. So I don't think you get rid of this kind of threat unless you're towards the end of your own narrative. So I don't see them beating him here. So he may either face taking it, or at the very last second, once again, just to show off his speed, he may just barely avoid. He may lose an arm. Like, if anything, I see an arm for an arm scenario going off where Lucci realizes the danger of Dark Cloak Dimension Slash Equinox a bit too late, and then he goes to dodge, and then Yami like gets him right where he was got, and then slices his arm off. And then once his arm is off, Melly finally makes a move and is like, finally, perfect. You can't use your full magic at all. 1, at 50%, and 2, especially being built like 50%. So let me just kill you right here, right now. Like, Melly has to do something. He entered the gamer stance, bro. He's leaning forward, so he's got to be ready to do something. And if he doesn't, I mean, to each their own, but still, I just really want him to step in at this point, because Melly's been chilling around. He's been waiting for so long, and waiting for what is the question. And honestly, we may not get the answer to that question, but I really would like to. I'd appreciate if we got the answer to that question. That'd be pretty darn neat in my eyes, if you ask me. However, that's the end of the chapter, and I think for a relatively heavy action chapter that contains just like a lot of cool visuals, it's pretty solid. Like, a solid 7, right? There's not much. Admittedly, once again, despite Yami losing a limb and also getting his legs broken, nothing has really happened. Like, everyone's in their own way, shape, or form. As we see, Yami's still getting bet on, even though he can't even swing a blade with 2 hands now, unless he makes a dark matter construct. So, I don't know. It feels like the status quo has been kind of static for the last couple chapters. Like, Lucci runs into X character and or characters. They fight. Not much changes. Lucci and characters are still fighting. I know it's a very, very bare bones, stripped down philosophy to it. Like, that's looking at it with ignoring all the context. But this chapter doesn't further any of our characters. It doesn't further, I mean, you could argue further, via his trust in William, but we always knew he trusted William. Like, this chapter doesn't push forward any characters. I still don't like Lucci's new look. And yeah, it's not filler. I won't call it filler, because breaking Asta's leg and Yami using an arm is very, very important. But I don't know. It's not the craziest chapter out there for me. However, those are my thoughts. Please leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Any support would be appreciated. Now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off.